RBI data shows that almost 50% of India's household savings are funneled into real estate. One may say we Indians are obsessed with property because land is really so scarce in a densely populated country like ours. But a bigger reason, I believe, is that real estate is something you can fall back on at any time. So today in our expert segment, we are going to look at ways to monetize your existing property through loans with Roongta, CEO of apnapaisa.com. Harsh, thank you very much for joining us.
Good evening.
So overall, how prudent is it to actually take loan against property for various monetary goals that you might have? Let's say you need money for your child's education and you don't have it. Is that something that you can consider?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think the first decision that you need to take is a loan necessary? I am assuming you are asking in a situation where you have already decided that this goal is necessary, this end is necessary, and the only way to fund this is through a loan. If that is true, then I think a loan against property is a pretty good option because it's very reasonably priced. Just two issues with it. The first, that except for education loans, which is a little different, where the end purpose is education of your child or your own education, except for that, unless and until you have income to back up your property, you won't be able to get a loan against property. So just because you have security doesn't mean, you may have a security worth, let's say 1 crore, but even getting a 10 lakh loan on that would be difficult unless you have the income to back that up. The only exception to that is probably education loan.
All right, so okay, you're saying that it should be you need to repeat that point, Harsh. I completely missed it.
What I meant was that it's having a property as a security for a loan is a great idea because it's reasonably priced, but that is not enough. You also, whatever loan you take against the security of the property, you need to have adequate income to show repayment of that loan. The only exception to that rule is an education loan where you need not have income. Just because you have security and the end purpose very clearly is education, you may still probably be able to get it. So the availability of loan against property is only where property is available plus existing income is available to repay the loan.
Fair enough. So clearly in the list of property, I mean, nowadays you actually have banks calling you and saying, we are offering you loan against your property, you can use it to actually take your dream vacation. That definitely is not one of the criteria for which you should be taking loan against property. Tell me, how much do banks really sanction? 50 to 60% is easy enough to get, Harsh?
So as I said, 50 to 60% of the property value, or roughly 2 times or possibly 2.25 times your annual income, assuming you have no other loans, whichever is lower. So you need to have annual income as well.
All right, so you do need to have annual income, and whichever is lower would be considered. In terms of paperwork, is it as easy or maybe as difficult, however much you may term it, as taking loan for a home, buying a new home?
Yes, I think the paperwork would be very similar. Same, the income paper, the identity papers, etc., extremely similar to a home loan. Just think of a home loan for a resale flat, and I think loan against property would be similar except for the income calculation bit.
What kind of properties can be mortgaged, Harsh? Is it, do banks prefer to give it against, let's say, residential property vis-a-vis commercial property, or they don't make a distinction?
No, residential property is always more welcome. I think commercial property, the liquidity is an issue on commercial property, but again you would be able to get a loan against that as well. So either residential or commercial will do, but residential is clearly preferred by the banks.
And how much would the interest rate differ compared to, let's say, a personal loan compared to a home loan? Would you be charged a higher rate than, let's say, a home loan and a lower than a personal loan?
Oh, absolutely, it will fall somewhere in between. The reason it is higher than a home loan is because when you have already funded the property, now the funds that you are taking, the end use is not known, or end use is not so easily monitorable, and therefore it's more expensive than a home loan. It's cheaper than a personal loan simply because it is more secure, and the income is also seen. So typically the interest rate for a loan against property would be in the region of 12.5 to about 15%, whereas for a personal loan it would be anywhere between 14 to 21, 22%, a home loan anywhere between 10 to 10.5%.
Okay, I'm very curious, and I'm going to come back to the first point that you outlined. Now, if I need to start a business and I would like to take loan against my property, which would probably be a great source of getting some startup finance, but then I also lose my annuity income.
No, I have not understood the question, Manisha.
I will not. So let's say I want to stop my job today and take a loan against my property to start a business. What happens then? Will the bank still consider the fact that I do not have regular income coming in?
Well, there are two answers to that. The first answer is take it while you still have the job, okay, and then hope to God that the business will pay for the loan. The second is, no, you can go for a regular project loan, where obviously the property as a security will help you, but you will need a project report which will show the benefit from the business. You will need to have your own contribution as well. So in any business, the property can't be your contribution, that's just a collateral security for the loan. You would need your own 30, 35, 40%, maybe even 50%, depending on the project, your own contribution separately from the property.
Fair enough. Harsh, thank you very much. Very well explained. Loans against property, when do they work, how do they work, and how well do they work. Pleasure having you with us.
Thank you.
That's it from us here on the Property Show. Thank you so much for joining me. See you again same time tomorrow.